Something magical happened the other day. My wife asked me to spend more time in the wood shop. Although I believe the exact words she used were, "Can you please build me a shaker pegboard shelf?" I'll begin by choosing 2 boards and then marking out the rough size in chalk. Then I establish a straight edge on each of the boards. At the bandsaw, I cut to rough width. This will save wear and tear on my joiner and planer later. Now that the boards are milled on 3 sides, I will cut to final width at the table saw. The final length is cut at the miter saw. The dimensions of each piece is checked and compared to my plans. At the router table, I add a 3/4 inch roundover with a step to the small board. The large board receives a 1/4 inch radius on the top and a 3/4 inch radius on the underside. I'm using 3 dominoes for alignment. Really, nothing is needed in this case, but it makes gluing it up just a little more stress-free. At the drill press, I'm drilling a 1/2 inch hole to accept the tenon on the shaker peg. Occasionally during a build, I'll stop to sand a bit. I could sand everything at the end, but if there's something that's particularly rough or maybe has a burn mark, I'll take the time to sand it in between. It makes it more bearable at the end. This is sanding with a plan. This is the inside corner of the shelf, so there will be a 90-degree angle here. And if I sand each of these surfaces to the final grit now and then glue them, no further sanding will be required and I don't have to deal with that 90-degree corner. And here again, I'm sanding an edge before it becomes an inside corner. A quick check of the fit, and now it's on to assembly. This tape trick is pretty neat, but it needs some explaining. What I'm doing is putting the tape on both surfaces. This is an inside corner, so glue squeeze out will be kind of hard to deal with. The 2 tape pieces are leaving a gap, so they're not tight to one another. This creates an opportunity for any excess glue to flow out of the joint and onto the tape. Before the glue dries, I'll remove the tape, leaving just a tiny bit of exposed glue if there is any squeeze out. My favorite method for hanging wood on walls is to use keyholes. In building construction, standard studs are 16 inches apart. Each keyhole on this side of the shelf has a corresponding keyhole 16 inches away on the other side. A spray of water and a branding iron means this project is now ready for finish. Almost. After sanding to 400 grit, I take compressed air to remove sanding dust from the pores of the wood. With the sanding dust removed from the pores, the wood will now look like it was hand-planed. Birchwood Casey True Oil continues to be my finish of choice. I flood the surface with True Oil using a foam applicator. Then I try to wipe off any excess within 10 minutes. I will repeat this process 2 more times. On cherry, I prefer a finish that is somewhere between satin and semi-gloss, and I find 3 coats gives me the look I'm going for. While I wait for my order of shaker pegs to arrive in the mail, I will install the 2 screws that hold the shelf to the wall. My pegs arrived, but they need a little work. Nothing a little sanding at the lathe can't fix. If you don't happen to have a lathe, a drill will work just fine. With the pegs sanded and shaped, 3 applications of True Oil follow before installation. I really prefer doing the pegs separately and then installing after finishing. I find it much easier to get a uniform finish on both the peg and the shelf. Additionally, any glue squeeze out is easy to clean up. After all the hard work, there's no greater satisfaction than hearing the kind words from a loved one.
Yep, looks like a peg shelf.
Thanks for watching.